Here is a full Reddit-style revenge, karma story in English, written in the dramatic, slightly over-the-top tone that works perfectly for narrated YouTube channels. Think R, pro-revenge, R, nuclear revenge, or the stepmother gets nothing, classics. Title: My dad died last week, at the will. Reading: His gold-digging wife got exactly $1, and I got everything else. I never thought I would be the person posting one of these stories. But after what happened last Thursday, I need to get it off my chest. And honestly, I want the entire internet to know exactly what kind of woman my stepmother Victoria really is. My name is Emily. I'm 24. Up until 9 days ago, I still had a dad. Dad, Richard Harper, was the kind of man who could light up a room without trying. Self-made. Started with a tiny auto repair shop when he was 19, turned it into a chain of 15 high-end garages across 3 states. By the time I was in high school, he was comfortably in the 8-figure club, but you'd never know it from talking to him. He still wore flannel shirts, still called everyone buddy, still snuck me $20 bills when I came home from college, even though I kept telling him I didn't need it. 5 years ago, Mom lost her fight with breast cancer. Dad was destroyed. For 2 years, he barely dated. Then he met Victoria. Victoria was 31 when they married. Dad was 54. Platinum blonde, former fitness model, teeth so white they looked radioactive. The Tactions, first time I met her, she hugged me like we were already best friends and said, "Oh my God, Richard tells me you're, like, super smart. We're gonna have so much fun, Emmy." I asked her not to call me Emmy. She laughed like I was joking. The wedding was obscene. Ice sculptures, string, quartet playing Metallica, fireworks over the lake. Dad looked happy, though, so I smiled and kept my mouth shut. Within 6 months, the mask slipped. Victoria started redecorating the house Mom and Dad had built together. Family photos disappeared. Mom's piano got sold because it clashed with the new aesthetic. She told Dad I was moody and ungrateful. She convinced him to stop paying my tuition directly and route everything through her so she could learn financial responsibility. Translation: she wanted control. Dad still loved me, but Victoria had her hooks in deep. She monitored his phone, cried if he wanted to have dinner with me alone, told him his cholesterol was going to kill him if he didn't take care of himself. Code 4, stopped sneaking out to see his daughter. Slowly, the visits became less frequent. The last 2 years, I probably saw him 8 times total. Then, 2 weeks ago, the heart attack. Massive. No warning. He was gone before the ambulance reached the hospital. Victoria's performance at the hospital was Oscar-worthy. Sobbing into a Hermes scarf, collapsing into the arms of Dad's business partner, wailing, "He was my whole world," so loudly the nurses asked her to keep it down. I just stood there in the hallway, holding Dad's favorite flannel shirt that I'd grabbed from his go-bag. I didn't cry in front of her. I'd learned long ago that tears only fed her. The funeral was worse. Victoria wore a black dress so tight it looked vacuum-sealed, 4-inch Louboutins, and a black fascinator with a veil so short it barely covered her fake eyelashes. She kept dabbing at her eyes with a lace handkerchief, but every time she thought no one was looking, the tears magically dried up. During the eulogy, which she insisted on giving, she talked about our love story. How Dad had rescued her from a life of Instagram endorsements. How they were soulmates who found each other late in life. She didn't mention me once. Not once. When the casket was lowered, she let out this theatrical wail and threw herself on the ground. 2 of her yoga friends had to carry her back to the limo. I heard her laugh. Actually laugh. The second the door closed. That night she texted me, "Victoria, hey sweetie, we need to talk about the house. I know it's soon, but I'm going to Need you to start packing. Obviously, this is a terrible time, but a girl's gotta move forward, right? So, I didn't answer. 3 days later, the will reading. Dad's lawyer, Mr. Jenkins, had called me personally and asked me to come to his office in the city. Victoria insisted on driving in. Dad's 2024 Porsche Taycan that she'd already put pink seat covers on. She spent the entire ride talking about how she was going to turn the garage chain into a lifestyle brand called Vici's Vintage Rides. She even had mood boards on her phone. We walked into the conference room. Mr. Jenkins was there with his paralegal. Dad's CFO, Mark. Dad's oldest friend from high school, Uncle Brian. Not actually my uncle, but close enough. And me. Victoria flounced in like she was walking the Met Gala stairs, air-kissed Mr. Jenkins, and announced, "Let's get this over with. I have a facial at 2. Mr. Jenkins cleared his throat. "Victoria, please have a seat." She rolled her eyes, but sat. He started with the formalities. Date. Full name of the deceased. Confirmation that this was the last will and testament. Signed 6 months ago. Witnessed. Notarized. Video recorded. Dad had insisted on video after Victoria tried to get him to sign something dodgy while he was on painkillers last year. Then he began reading. "To my beloved daughter, Emily Harper, I leave." Victoria cut him off. Wait. Can we skip to the part about me? The wife? The widow? Like, the person who took care of him for 5 years? Mr. Jenkins didn't even look up. "Please refrain from interrupting, Mrs. Harper." She crossed her arms and huffed. He continued. "The entirety of my personal liquid assets, including all checking, savings, investment accounts, retirement funds, currently valued in excess of $48 million. Victoria perked up. She actually started fanning herself with the manila folder she'd brought. Probably her vision for the rebrand. The lake house in Michigan, the condominium in Aspen, the beach house in Naples, Florida, and my primary residence at 1427 Oak Ridge Lane. She was practically vibrating, as well as 100% ownership of Harper Luxury Garages, LLC, and all subsidiary entities, intellectual property, real estate holdings, and pending contracts. Victoria let out a high-pitched squeal and clapped her manicured hands. "Oh my God, babe, you did it. You really did it." Mr. Jenkins adjusted his glasses. "Mrs. Harper, I'm not finished." She waved him off. Yeah, the charity stuff. Whatever. Where do I sign?" He turned the page. "To my wife, Victoria Harper, née Sinclair. I leave the 2012 Honda Civic, currently registered in her name, with 187,000 miles, to do with as she pleases, and the sum of $1 US. The room went dead silent. Victoria blinked, then blinked again. "I'm sorry." "What?" Mr. Jenkins repeated it word for word. She started laughing, that sharp, fake laugh she does when Botox appointments are mentioned. "Okay, very funny." Richard always had a weird sense of humor. "Where's the real will?" Mr. Jenkins slid a document across the table. "This is the real will. Signed, witnessed, and accompanied by a letter from Richard that he asked to be read aloud if there was confusion." He opened a sealed envelope and began reading in Dad's own words. His lawyer had transcribed it exactly. "If you're hearing this, Victoria, it means I'm gone and you're probably throwing a fit right now. Let me be crystal clear. You get $1. That's it. $1 single. The same amount you told Emily her college fund was worth when you accidentally spent it on a Birkin. I woke up a long time ago, Tori. The hidden cameras in the house, the nanny cam teddy bear, Emily gave me for Christmas 2 years ago. Yeah, I watched the footage. I saw how you spoke to my daughter when you thought no one was listening. I saw the dating apps on your phone. I saw the business lunches with your trainer. But mostly, I saw Emily trying not to hate you because she knew it would hurt me. That's the kind of heart you never understood. So no, you don't get the houses. You don't get the cars, except that beat-up Civic you refuse to drive because it's beneath you. You don't get the company. You don't get a dime of the insurance policy. I changed the beneficiary back to Emily the day after you tried to add yourself. You get $1. Because that's what our marriage was worth to you the moment you thought I wasn't looking. To my daughter, Emily, everything I have is yours. The money, the business, the homes, all of it. But more than that, I leave you the knowledge that you were loved beyond measure by both your parents. Spend it, invest it, give it away, burn it in a bonfire for all I care. Just be happy, and know that your mom and I are watching, proud as hell. And Victoria, don't bother contesting this. I've spent the last year making it airtight with the best lawyers money can buy. Love always, Dad. Victoria's face went through every color in the visible spectrum. She started screaming, actually screaming, that this was fraud, elder abuse, undue influence, that I'd brainwashed him on his deathbed. She lunged for the will like she was going to rip it up. Uncle Brian stood up and blocked her. Calmly. He's 6'4", and built like a refrigerator. Sit down, Victoria. Mr. Jenkins pressed a button under the table. Security. Too large. Gentleman appeared in the doorway. She switched tactics instantly. Started sobbing. Emily. Baby. We're family. You wouldn't do this to me. Think of all the memories I finally spoke. My voice was steady. I'd practiced this moment in my head for years. Memories? You mean like when you told me I was fat at Mom's grave? Or when you forgot to tell me Dad was in the hospital last year with pneumonia? Or when you changed the locks the day after his heart attack so I couldn't get my childhood photos? I reached into my purse and pulled out a crisp $1 bill. I walked over and placed it on the table in front of her. Here's your inheritance, Victoria. Don't spend it all in one place. She stared at it like it was radioactive. Then she lost it. Grabbed the dollar, screamed something about seeing us all in court, and stormed out, heels clicking like gunshots. One of her fake lashes was hanging off. It was glorious. The security guys followed her out. We heard her yelling in the hallway that she was calling the police. Then the unmistakable sound of her realizing the Porsche keys no longer worked. Dad had the dealership disable them. Remotely 2 days before he died, another little surprise. Mr. Jenkins waited until it was quiet again, then turned to me. Emily, there's one more thing. He opened a small velvet box. Inside was Mom's wedding ring. The one Victoria had told everyone was tacky and demanded Dad replace. Dad had kept it all these years. There's a note, Mr. Jenkins said softly. I opened it with shaking hands. For when you find someone who loves you the way I loved your mom. Until then, wear it. And know we're with you. D. I slipped it on my ring finger, right hand. It fit perfectly. That was 4 days ago. Since then, Victoria tried to break into the house. The new security system, installed the day after the funeral, tased her. Not really, but the alarm is loud enough that she peed a little. There's video. She posted a tearful TikTok saying I stole her dead husband's fortune. It has 2.3 million views and 98% of the comments are roasting her. Someone slowed down the funeral veil laugh and set it to circus music. It's art. She's lawyered up. Mr. Jenkins says her case is so weak it's practically a noodle. Dad really did make it too. Airtight. I moved back into the house. I found boxes and boxes of Mom's things in the attic that Victoria had hidden. I spent all night going through them and crying happy tears. Yesterday, I promoted Dad's longest tenured mechanic to COO and gave every employee a 25% raise and a COO $10,000 bonus, effective immediately. The company is now 42% employee-owned. Dad would have loved that. And Victoria? Last I heard, she's living in her cousin's basement in New Jersey and trying to sell consulting services on Instagram. The Civic broke down on the Garden State Parkway. AAA wouldn't tow her because the membership was in Dad's name. Karma's a bitch, but sometimes she wears Louboutins and leaves $1 on the table. Thanks for reading, Reddit. Dad always said, kindness is the best revenge. But honestly, sometimes a single dollar bill hits harder than anything else. TL. Dr. Evil stepmom bullied me for years. Thought she hit the jackpot when Dad died. Turns out, he left her $1 and the 2-year-old Honda she hated. I got everything else. She threw a tantrum for the ages. Justice tastes sweet. Mods, if this belongs in R, nuclear revenge, or R, malicious compliance, feel free to move it. I just needed to tell someone. Update. 3 days later, Victoria showed up at the biggest Harper luxury garage location with a film crew trying to make a tell-all documentary. My new COO had her escorted out by security while the mechanics blasted Another One Bites the Dust over the shop speakers. The footage is online. I'm told the comments are therapeutic. Life is good, you guys. Life is really, really good.